Hi, it's Vic. Welcome to the Time for Tea Designs YouTube channel today. I'm really happy to be sharing a fun windmill card with you. So I'm just starting off by using some of the brand new products from the August release, and this is the Up, Up and Away stamp set. And this stamp set is so sweet. I love how the little bunny's holding on to the basket with the balloon. And I've listed all the Copic markers that I've used on the screen for you. So I mainly used my E40 markers to colour the bunnies, and then I've used some pretty soft pastel colours for the balloon. But the main focal point of the card is the windmill, which is so fun to put together, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going ahead and finishing up my colouring, and once that's complete, I'm moving on to the next step. So the card today is a slimline card, which is basically a UK DL size card. And I've gone ahead and I've used the Time for Tea Designs Scallop Slimline die, and I've just die cut that out of some cards, and now I'm going ahead and using the Time for Tea Designs Wonderful Wave stencil. So I flip this over and use the scallop part, because what I'm going to be doing now is just add in some different colour Distress Oxide inks to make a cloudy background. I'm just going in with my beautiful blender brush, and I've just added some Seedless Preserves, and what I've done with this colour, because it is quite dark, is I've just stamped it on my mats, and then I'm picking up the colour with the brush and then gently applying this over the stencil. And then once the stencil's removed, I've not inked up the blender brush, I've just kept the same amount of ink on there, and I'm going ahead and going over both of the stencil lines just to soften the background. And now I've got the worn lipstick Oxide ink, so I'm doing exactly the same thing, just picking it up off the mat and gently applying it, and just keep going over the blended parts, just making sure that the colours are all nicely blended together. And now I'm going to be working on the bottom part of the card, so I've used some Distress Oxide in Bundled Sage for this, and I've used the same stencil, but I've just used the part where it looks like a hill, so I've just added that to the bottom of the card, just adding some Bundled Sage over this just to make more of like a grass scene. And once that part's done, I've then gone in with some milled lavender, again using the beautiful blender brush, and I've just joined the sky and the hill scene together using this colour. And then I've also gone ahead and just gone over some of the top parts of the card just to blend all the inks together nicely. And for the next part of the card, we're going to be working on the Windmill Die, which has been so fun to use. So I've gone ahead and cut all the bits I need from the windmill die, but this part here, this is your base part which you need to use, and then the part with the purple card is the part where it's going to be showing. So this is going to be part of the house, and how cool is this? The door actually opens, which is just brilliant. And then after this we're going to be adding the roof. So what I've done is the die that I've used as the base part, I've got the roof and then run that through the die cutting machine, because then it will add the circle in, and you definitely need to add this circle in if you're going to be adding the sail part of the windmill. So the next step is I've got this little eyelet that I've die cut, so I'm just adding that above the roof, and now I'm adding the little door, which even comes with a little doorknob, which is just so sweet. So I'm just going ahead and adhering that down. And then I've got some windows that I'm going to be adding, and you can actually attach these to the house part of the card and run them through your die cutting machine if you want them to look as if the windows you can peer through. So again, that's really cool. So next I've die cut the windmill sail, and I'm just adhering down the little white bits of card for the sail. And this is one of them dies, the more you use it, the easier it is. So don't feel intimidated when you see the die, because it's super easy to put together and it's also fun. So it is really, really good to use. So in the die you get 2 eyelets, so you can either add these on top of each other like I've done here, and that will give a little bit more height for your windmill, or you can add one at the back just to secure the sail down. And this is the little chimney for the house, which is just adorable. So I'm just going ahead and adhering the chimney down, and now I'm adding the sail part, which you need a brad for this. So once everything's put together, just add your brad, and then there's also a larger circle part which I'm just adding onto the brad now just to cover it up. And the last part are the little steps, which they're just so sweet. So that's how you put your windmill die together, and it spins round, which is just amazing. And now I'm just going ahead and adhering down my panel die. So I've just used some PVA glue for this. I find it easier using the PVA glue when you're doing your slimline cards, because the amount of times I've not added it correctly or it's wonky. So if you do struggle with that, then definitely try using some PVA glue and you'll be able to line it up a lot more easier than using double-sided tape. So now that's stuck down, I'm adhering the rest of the images before I start work on the sentiment. So I've got the sentiment to a special friend, which is from the Grateful For You stamp set. So I'm going to be heat embossing this. So I've just added some Versamark ink, and now I'm just adding some white embossing powder, and then I'm heat setting this with my heat gun. And I've adhered all the images down in the windmill, so I'm just adhering down my sentiment, and I've used some foam pads for this just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm also going to be adding some sequins, so I've got some PVA glue and I'm just going ahead and adding a couple of purple sequins. And now I'm going in with some Nouveau drops in a nice purple colour, again because it matches the background. So I'm just adding a couple of these to the card just to finish the card off. And there we go, the windmill card's all complete. Thank you so much for watching. I'll list everything that I've used down in the description box below. Thanks, bye.